Howdy ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hypersonic 55 and welcome to another film review, and today's film review will be on Star Trek Into Darkness. Even though it's a few days late, I decided, the review has to be done. So after the successful reboot of the Star Trek franchise with Star Trek in 2009, directed by J.J. Abrams, we happen to have this sequel that's taken the longest of 4 years to come out. I've been waiting for this film for ages. It's just been the most painful wait ever. But all these trailers leading up to the film has been really interesting. We have the cast of the first one returning, and now you have Benedict Cumberbatch as the villain. There's no way this film could suck, right? So I went to see it just after opening day, and I can't deny the fact that I thought the film was freaking mint. And I'm going to tell you why in this review. So when it comes to the plot, here is a brief synopsis. This film takes place just a little while after the 2009 film, and it sees the crew of the Enterprise go up against John Harrison, a former agent of Starfleet who's decided to go about and go rogue and commit all these forms of terrorism. He happens to basically take out Starfleet from the inside. So Kirk is tasked with hunting this guy down and bringing him to justice, basically. And what follows is a game of cat and mouse, a very clever game of chess, if you will, and there is just a lot of stuff that goes down. As the plot thickens, there is a lot of mystery, conspiracy, drama, and humour to follow. And basically that is just the gist of the story without going into the area of spoilers, because believe me, if I told you the spoilers, you wouldn't like me for it. So now I'm literally just going to go back and talk about the film in its good and bad forms. So let's start with the good. Firstly, the film as an overall whole is just really good. It's a great continuation of this new Star Trek film series. It happens to have a lot more of that action-oriented, streamlined approach, and it doesn't boggle itself down in all that overly science fiction mumbo-jumbo that tends to go about and turn off a lot of people that weren't Star Trek fans before. You're basically getting more of the same, except just on a bigger, larger scale. There is a lot of humour going on in the film, which is really welcome. And there is a lot of drama and a lot of mystery and a lot of unexpected things that do take place. One of the things I liked about the film was the story. It moved at a decent pace. It never felt like it was slow or dragging its feet. It got from point A to point B, and it always got more and more interesting as things played out. As for the cast of Star Trek Into Darkness, they are bloody good and they are on form. Everybody from the first film does a great job in continuing their roles into this film, but there are also some fine performances from the new additions in the form of Alice Eve, Peter Weller, and Benedict Cumberbatch. So let's just talk about Kirk and Spock, played by Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto. Their relationship was at the forefront of the first film, and it is accelerated in this film as well. These guys still have great chemistry together, and it's just interesting to see these sort of emotional and humorous steps that there is to their relationship. It was always cool to see how that dynamic worked in the first film, and it worked really well in this film. Chris Pine's character happens to have a great evolution and a much more emotional, thing going down in this film that I can't really say, but it is really cool. And Zachary Quinto's performance as Spock is great. They happen to show a much more interesting take on the character than what has been explored in the TV show before, and there is just that interesting aspect about Spock in terms of his half human, half Vulcan elements that are brought into play in this film, and it's just great to see him. But the standout performance has to be from Benedict Cumberbatch as John Harrison. He is a beast. He is a beast, and that's all I can say. It's just hard to say without going into spoilers, but the fact of the matter is the guy is just, he's great. When he's on screen, you can see the tenacity and flair and intensity in his face. When he's beating people up, you feel pain because he's that cool. When he delivers monologues and dialogue, it's just get away from me, man, you're dangerous. But Benedict Cumberbatch, I loved him as Sherlock. He was great in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but he is one of the best villains in this film, and he definitely makes up for Nero in the first Star Trek film. The first Star Trek film was only missing a good villain element, and Benedict Cumberbatch literally just fills that role to a T. He sold the movie for me. He's that great. No dissing to the rest of the cast, but he's a beast. And then there's the presentation of Star Trek Into Darkness, which is still on top form. The wonderful visual CGI art direction, swooping camera angles and that beautiful lens flare that everyone seems to hate, but I don't mind, is there. It's in full effect. It looks good, and Industrial Light and Magic still should be applauded for the work that they do. It is some clean looking stuff. And the soundtrack by Michael Giacchino is great. It happens to have a lot of the recurring themes from, like, was it the previous film, but along with some new ones. It's pretty much a bit of the same, but it still sounds pretty good, godly, epic, and it amplified the film by, like, a good 5 times. Michael Giacchino is still doing it. Okay, so now to talk about the bad. I guess the only bad elements about the film that I could find was that with such a massive cast, there were obviously going to be some people who don't get as much screen time as others, and it really pained me to see some of my Enterprise people not get the kind of screen time that I'd hoped they would. Also, the plot of the film, like, at first, before John Harrison comes to the forefront of the story, it was good. Not that I hated it so much, but it just wasn't as interesting until, like, John Harrison came into play. So that was one other element I wasn't too keen on. So to summarize, ladies and gentlemen, Star Trek Into Darkness is a fantastic continuation of, like, the new Star Trek film series. It happens to give us a bit more of the same, but on a much darker and grander scale. The cast are in top form, and Benedict Cumberbatch, I'm still going to keep saying it, is the beastliest man ever. He needs more work. He's just awesome. He stole the film for me, and honestly, this is my favourite film of 2013 so far. I didn't think anything was going to beat Iron Man 3, but, like, I have a new favourite film, Star Trek Into Darkness. So I don't know what rating to give it, but, like, if I just wanted to be cheeky, 9 out of 10, why not? Because it was cool. So, what did you guys think of Star Trek Into Darkness? Please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and join the revolution that is the Hypersonic 55. So yeah, I guess that is it for now. So I guess until the next time, this is Hypersonic 55 signing out, yo.